Hello and welcome to the Hat Chat Podcast, episode 163, with your three hosts. Chris Trott is me, Chris Trott.
Oh, hi, Chris Trott.
Hello.
This is the voice of Ross.
And I'm Alex Smith, and we're joining you today from Bristol, where it's hailing like crazy. We record this podcast in the roof of a building that has a roof made of tin.
Yeah.
And we have a live studio audience.
And
They're always so quiet.
They're the
They
most
find nothing funny,
well-behaved.
and they never clap.
I don't know why we keep bringing them in. It's
Fuckers.
so awkward.
Why are you watching us? It's so dead
But
out
you
there.
may hear both the studio audience moving around and the hail smashing
It's
off the
not
ceiling.
white noise, it's hail.
Yeah, so
look forward to that. It's
yeah.
easing off right now, but it's going to pick up for
Who
sure.
fingered us?
Fingered us, that would be Dibs Watt.
Thank Dibs
Again. Thank you very much. It's a really cool track, actually. The whole thing is at the end of this episode.
Yeah, you the boss.
You the boss.
Did that sound legit? Did I fill that off? Can I say that kind of thing?
You the boss.
Do you ever think that? Like, you say words that are like lexicons of like certain, subcultures.
I think if it comes from you and it's out of the blue because you never said it before, it's disingenuous. But if you keep doing it, it becomes more genuine.
Well,
Well,
I think
thanks.
your
You the
mum
boss.
is
You the
mid.
boss. You the boss. Yeah. Well,
That
you
felt real.
Your mum is
you
mid.
the boss, so you would know.
Mother's mint.
My mother's mid.
That's
Which is fine.
quite negative.
No, it's not.
It is quite negative.
It's
I think
mid.
so. She's mid.
Yeah, but mid is fine.
Mid is like, no, mid is a negative.
Yeah, but I know it is in this context.
Show,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
not. She's mid.
Are you glad she's mid?
I haven't seen your mum in years.
Yeah, I think mid is fine.
if she was fit,
Yeah.
you'd be batting away all the men with a stick from
Yeah.
your mum.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, but like mids, like mid is, so people say mid is bad, and I know, understand in that context, mid is considered to be used
Underachiever.
Yeah, it's like mid. It's plain.
Like
it's bland.
this
It's
podcast
nothing.
is mid.
Yeah.
To some people.
Yeah.
Very much could be.
But mids, I think. I mean, the way I know
Backbone of society, innit?
No, the way
Just middle,
the way I
middle,
know the
average,
word
average.
mid is from weed. So
This mead is
when
this mead is weird.
so this mead is weed is mid. So mids are actually the middle part of the plant. So remember when we were in
It's a literal meaning.
in that dispensary
LA,
tour?
yeah.
He told us that basically. So there's like different at different points of the plant, the buds are smaller or larger, and people in the US especially like really big, frosty, big, good-looking nuts.
They love it big.
So they choose those, and those are like the top shelf cuts.
Yeah.
And then there are smaller buds within the plant, and those are known as mids. And then below that, there are much smaller ones again that are then used for like ground up and used for like pot and press and all that sort of stuff.
What are those called?
I can't remember, but like I think that's actually where it comes from. So I may not use the word mid, but I understand its use. I think.
Yeah, it's
got
I
it's
disagree with its generalized use.
It's extremely straightforward once you hear
pretty
someone
mid.
say it in context, though.
It's quite mid.
It's extremely mid. But what other words have you
I'm
learned?
just trying to think of, off the top of my head, I can't.
Do you learn these on the street?
Yeah, always. I'm just listening in. What are they saying? What are these words?
Yeah.
And then I realise I'm outside like a foreign.
What's the what's that new
language school
term for that person there has a sweet ass?
What bunda?
No. No. Begins with G, I think.
Gat.
Gyat.
Yeah, we said gat before to you, and that really confused
Gyat damn.
That was really confusing for you.
Gat.
Oh, I think I fucking
Gat.
a little kid did say gat, and I thought that was quite funny because I don't
To
think he said it
you?
in context. No,
To you?
like, it was-
Because that kid is extremely
it was
confused.
some kids walking past when I was walking Murph, and like one of them mentioned gat, but they said it in a really
Weird
strange
context.
context that I don't think related.
That
to
dog.
Mate, look at that gat pigeon.
Yeah, something stupid like that.
Yo, look at the dump truck on that pigeon.
Yeah, something dumb like that.
Gat, come
Yeah.
over here and get some bread.
You don't have to roadman it.
You do
But,
that.
but I think that's almost become a lexicon of its
Is
own.
it a?
It has.
Does it
People
come?
who've never lived in parts of the country like that speak like that.
Yeah.
They've grown up all their life in Somerset, and some people speak like that. And I'm like, it's just adopted from media, I guess.
The
Like
globalization of slang term.
Right, it's beyond slang terms though. It's like an actual way of speaking, I guess. Like,
It's gone, yeah, to that degree. But it's weird when you had a friend, it's not a personal anecdote, I suppose, had a friend who didn't speak like that and then decided to hang out with those people and then did speak like that, which almost seems like maybe some form of appropriation of sorts.
it kind of is, isn't it? In a way,
Yeah.
Like,
it's just like, well, why are you suddenly talking like that now?
Like all accent,
You
like
just picked that up somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
Now you're
Yeah,
like,
I can understand
you
it.
definitely did not speak like that before.
yeah.
If you want to fit in, right?
yeah,
I understand. You don't
Yeah,
want to be
yeah.
that person that speaks weird.
yeah.
around
I think
people.
all
Pick up
accent and
accents,
language has appropriation by its nature, right? Because
Yeah.
like that's the way that
Yeah.
accents and language spreads through, like it spreads through nations, it spreads through places. So yeah, there is going to be appropriation, I think.
Well, I guess that's what's that?
But in certain circumstances, you're
kind
just
of
like,
funny, yeah.
that's some high speed adopting you're doing.
People were quite annoyed about that girl from Stranger Things 11. What's her name?
Oh yeah.
I forget her
Oh.
name. But she, in certain interviews, she would obviously speak in like an American accent. I guess if she's speaking to American,
And then she'd be
interviewers,
very
and then
upper
she'd
class.
be very British in others.
Well, it
And
depends on
people
the
were
role
like, oh my
she's
God,
having,
she's
right?
lost her accent or something. And it's like, oh right, is she?
Everyone
Okay.
always says that. Like Austin Butler's been getting a lot
At a
of
certain
shit
age,
as well.
I don't think it's that easy to lose an accent.
I think
If you're a kid,
It's just
sure.
whatever's around you, isn't it? I guess.
And I appreciate you might
Yeah.
put one on. Like we do the Scottish thing when Rabs is around, and that's
Yeah,
almost
bow.
just because we're kind of like joining. I don't know why we do that,
it feels
but
probably to
when
him
you
it's
watch
totally
it back,
different.
It feels wrong
Yeah,
to do.
It feels like playing.
it's good for us,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
not good for them, is it?
No,
It's not nice.
It feels like
It's like Rabs constantly doing a. Well, I wouldn't give a shit if he did.
I think we
Well,
find
no,
it
I-
hilarious if Rabs
yeah.
tried to do English
But then that's
accents
us putting on to them that they must feel the same way as we do.
I don't believe that they must, but he hasn't given me any evidence to the counter.
Austin Butler's is weird
Yeah.
that he does that. He just did a role as Elvis,
Elvis.
and now just keeps that accent.
Well, I think it's fine. Like, I don't know why people are so hung up on this.
I don't know. It's just
Because it's fun to pick apart things
I think
that
it's
are
just
so much bigger than you.
it creates a disingenuous
But like, if you've
person.
if you've
isn't it?
become
They
a
are an actor
person
after
for a
all.
role, like Christian Bale or whatever, like some people really immerse themselves in these roles and learn out and haven't like a speech therapist and all that stuff to learn their language. I think it would stick. It's like learning a
If I
language.
came
I
and
think
started
it's an
with a
authenticity
Scouse
issue,
accent
isn't
all the
it?
time, you'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. It's all
You'd
about
question
authenticity.
it. If it was
Yeah.
something I could keep up
Yeah.
every day.
Fair enough, Ross.
Then I just had a chicken in a coke.
On the
If I
way
kept that
here,
up somehow. I don't think I could actually really keep
I'd
that
like the idea that you would slowly start to develop a resentment towards us because you feel like we're discriminating against you because you're a Scouser.
That would be funny.
That would be like, why don't you listen to me? You don't take me seriously when I talk like this.
Seriously?
You don't take me seriously.
I think,
got to come
I think
in.
if you were casting a main role for like Train Spotting
Childish.
3,
Huh?
if you were casting a main role for Train Spotting 3, we both knew that you're going to be out for 6 months getting dialect coaching
Sure.
and
Yeah.
going to be immersed in the Scouse ways
Yeah,
for that
yeah.
long, and you came back with that accent, I think it would make sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't belittle you for having that accent.
Did a lot more of the Northern accent after Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just pick it up.
Like we
But,
just do it.
If I just
Because it's fun.
was ordering a coffee in that accent, do you know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think Trott, what Ross was trying to say
using
here,
it in a context.
we use all these accents because they're fun, right?
Yeah,
like,
not
like
because
they're
you-
not our accent.
Not because you are that person.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
not-
like
not-
fun. It's a role playing thing
Yeah.
almost, and not half the time it is a role play thing.
And I'm not targeting any particular actor or person in place. I think that all it comes
Leave
down
Austin
to
alone.
is like how much you want to indulge each other. Really, you know, like how much like you want people to be able to be like, I'm going to try speaking with a new accent for a year and see how it is, and you're like, all right. You know, like
How
or
rare is
you
that?
could- Or
Yeah,
you
yeah.
could be like, that's dumb. And then they're like, why is that? And you're
Yeah.
like, I just feel like it's dumb. And like, you know, like as in it's about like, or you could just be like, all right,
It's
give it a go. And then they
yeah.
do it all year and they go, yeah, all right, yeah, that was
It's not
pretty
like I'm
sweet.
just trying a fashion trend. I'm trying
Yeah, I
that.
don't know.
But it's not.
I'm trying
that.
out
Why is it
dungarees,
annoying?
guys.
Why is it negative, I guess? Like what we're trying
But
to
like
get to
that
here is the
doesn't really
crux of-
happen.
Yeah.
Because it's not the person you know.
Yeah, it's all like,
You've known me for
Yeah.
20 plus years. I mean, like, oh, now you've put on an Irish accent, right?
This
Yeah.
this
Oh, yeah.
topic could go in so many ways. It's
could,
quite
yeah.
negative
Do you think so?
in terms of like you're not the person I used to know.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Uh,
it'd be but all of a suddenly just doing a random accent and then just telling your friends to just accept it. I guess it's fine, but it's just like
Yeah, but if you knew the context of why
Yeah.
they're speaking that accent,
Well,
not rather than just
what's
like
the context? In my context
Yeah.
would be I wanted to.
yeah, but that
no
rarely
reason for
happens.
it.
Like
That
when
rarely
does that
actually
ever?
happens. Yeah, no, it's
like,
true.
In reality,
Like in reality, if you ever ran into that situation, the person
Where
would
someone's
probably be able
just chosen.
probably able to tell you like, oh, this is why I'm doing it, and then you can make a judgment call on those values. I guess. I think without reason, it's silly.
yeah, without reason,
What if
it's
I
silly,
what
which
if I
is a rare
say
thing.
Irish and then start kind of like talking about my ancestors? And you're like, whoa, hang on a second. You can't take the whole. You
I
do
would
the
find that
accent,
fucking hilarious, and I would laugh at you every day, like because
start
of that,
bringing
because
up
the
the
context
fucking-
is you, and you're pretending to be Irish, and I know you don't have Irish ancestors, and beyond it
Top of
being
the morning,
a
yeah.
serious mental health crisis, I would be like, is this
Well,
a
this
funny
is it.
thing?
Well, exactly.
You know, like
Well, you know, there's people who wake up speaking different languages or like accents.
Make him up.
There was some woman who literally woke up with a Scouse accent. She said, I don't know where fucking came from. Suddenly got an accent.
Is that
like
a
right.
brain injury?
Yeah, something
Could
like
be
that.
some
Where
sort of weird, like,
there's a name
neuro-
for it. I'm not sure what the name is for it, but it's legit because it's like, I mean,
I'm trying to think of a funny
but
pun.
your friend would try and catch you out every step of the way, like, are you still talking like that?
I feel like you just.
That word was definitely no. Okay,
I feel like you just use this opportunity to become Scouse.
but it was the one
So
who could
do
speak
you want
fluent
beef
Chinese.
lamb or
Wasn't there someone who could speak fluent Chinese who was like British and it's like came out of nowhere? And that's a fuck. That'd
That's
be
impressive.
a hilarious
I think
prank
a lot
to
of
play.
those situations are hoaxes.
That would be a great prank to play because
Yeah.
suddenly, oh fuck, he's learned Mandarin.
Because newspapers
Fair
love
play.
those articles.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's
Foreign
usually
account syndrome, apparently. Accent syndrome. Foreign accent syndrome. I
Yeah, that'd be
reckon there
crazy.
must be at least in their lexicon of their brain, they
ability to
must have
do
been
that.
surrounded by that
Yeah,
accent.
totally. Because you can dream an accent you can't produce yourself, right? Like-
Oui.
I can speak it in my head, but
Yeah,
I
exactly.
struggle
So it means it's there.
Exactly. So the ability to it's just about whether or not you can tell your vocal cords and mouth to verbalize the sounds that you hear
Yeah,
in
it's
your
like-
mind. So I can
Imagine-
believe that happens.
somebody's talking about moving from America to like the UK. I imagine the things that would mainly change are literally pronunciations of like specific words, where like I don't know, what's an Americanism
What?
of like a word that we say differently to Americans?
Parking
Or
lot
like-
and car park.
Yeah, I think yeah,
What about rocket and arugula?
arugula. Yeah, arugula is
Eggplant.
Yeah.
Aubergine.
Aubergine.
What an Americanism for like what? Like
Trousers, pants.
yeah, trousers.
Would they
and
start
pants
calling
is
it
good.
water? Instead of water,
It depends. No,
water.
we say water.
I want a water.
Depends where you are in the UK. 'Cause it's so regional.
Water.
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 Get me a fizzy water.
I was watching a thing about there's the British operation to train Ukrainian soldiers, and they have a bunch of Ukrainian translators who've come over to help. So the people that are teaching the Ukrainians are Scottish,
Oh, okay.
and so the Ukrainian
Oh, right.
translator was telling them about how they had to learn what a word was with a Scottish accent. And she
Right.
was like, they say like, what was bottle, and she's like, I don't know whether he's saying bottle, battle, ball, and then he's like,
Or pal.
yeah, or pal. He's like, and she's like, yeah, he's basically compressed the word battle into anything that
Pal.
could be, yeah, or pal.
Yeah.
And she's just like, yeah, we just have to guess on the context, and I'm like, that's
yeah.
hilarious.
Scottish is a very thick accent.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
fantastic
it depends on
accent.
where you're
Again,
from, right?
yeah.
The
If you're
location,
more
'cause some-
southern
it's
in
not as
Scotland, it's
strong,
not
yeah.
as strong. Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I don't know why we went onto that tangent.
Yeah, that's. What
If
else
I
is-
had a traumatic head injury, and woke
Okay,
up,
right.
like,
If you had a traumatic head
really-
injury, you'd be a far more interesting person. What are you going to say?
But there's a reason for that.
But
segue.
I woke up with like a really strong
Erection.
Jamaican accent.
Oh,
Well, that's
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I really still have not made. I should like read about this or some shit because I've made so little progress with my opinion on doing accents. Like for me, it's still probably around the, like, on the whole, just doing an accent.
Oh, okay. Well, do an
is
Indian
funny.
accent for us then.
I can't. It comes out Welsh.
Do a Chinese accent for us.
I mean, it does feel bad to do, doesn't it? I mean,
Suddenly,
yeah, fair enough.
just when you're
All right,
put on the
white
spot
European accents, I'm happy doing.
because- Yeah. Well, there you go.
Okay.
That's
Is
fine.
that right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Can't
But,
offend
like,
other
I
white
just feel
people,
like-
right?
Well, I mean, it's more just. I guess I feel more comfortable offending them because I understand the context better.
Yeah, I think so. It's more the
It
education
depends if you
around
start
it.
bringing
Yeah,
like
yeah,
stereotypes and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think most accents
Oh
are
no, I still have using stereotypes of
Oh, okay.
because like the French, the Germans, the Spanish, we all do that of each other. Like there's plenty of English stereotypes. Let's be honest.
I think if you're willing to take the beating,
Yeah.
it's okay to give it.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, you don't understand certain cultures that don't understand that
Yeah.
kind of level of humor.
And maybe ease into it.
When we
Don't
did the,
wade in with a Hitler joke. You
yeah.
know, like straight like.
When we did the 1 hour film challenge, you put that French accent. Were you also impersonating the guy from The King? Because there was a part in that where I watched that clip the other day,
Oh yeah.
King.
and he was really like doughy eyed and kind of like, what's he?
What the
What's the-
Robert?
what's his name? Yeah, the
Robert?
guy from Twilight. I can't
Yeah.
remember his name now.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Pattinson, yeah, that one.
He plays a very foppish king.
Yeah,
He's
right.
in the Agincourt by
And he's like
Alfred.
offering to like have a one-on-one fight. And he's like, "Oh, and to just murder on their own."
Yeah. No, I loved it. No, the reason I was doing that because I did a LARP.
Because I was
a
supposed
few
to. Wasn't I
months
supposed to
ago.
do something? I
Yeah,
didn't catch it.
yeah.
Yet. No.
You were meant to do a
And I was
line.
like, oh,
you were meant to do a
yeah,
line, so I
yeah,
just
yeah.
kept on going until you said
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
No, I did that foppish French character at a LARP and
Okay.
just basically just
Had a whale of a time.
practiced it.
Nice.
It's very hello, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
It
it's
is,
like,
yeah. That is a stereotype.
Yeah, that is a stereotype, but a funny one.
The French can take it, can't they?
I hope so.
Wait.
Bloody hope so.
But I have this traumatic head injury, and I'm
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
really Jamaican.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Well, I think that as long as you preface it with that, I think you're fine, aren't you? Well, what can you say otherwise?
I've
Well, I
not
can't help it
been-
because I literally had. Well, obviously it would be like, well, can you help it? I can't do it. So I'm just going to do the
Lemon.
accent.
I've seen
Which
that.
one?
The only word I can say is beer can.
Biakan.
Or
Because
Jamaican.
it's beer can.
Yeah. Jamaica. I mean, you're going to make yourself look like an idiot. That's the main thing, isn't it? Like, I think that's the main thing.
My
You-
brain is limited to how much Jamaican it can
But wasn't
do
there-
Yeah.
authentically.
I don't know if maybe he is Jamaican. There was this.
Who?
There was a dude who was like
Sean Paul.
supposedly controversial. Cause he was-
Wagwan man.
I can't remember what it was. It was.
Is he just
he
go
was
up
trending
to-
for a bit, but
Oh, no, I think I know who you're talking
it
about.
was a rapper or something.
No, well, maybe you're not talking about this, but it was fucking Tom Hanks' youngest son, Chet Hanks.
Oh,
he was
Chet.
doing that for a bit.
Was
Yeah,
doing the
yeah, yeah.
fucking talking like
Chet
that.
Hanks,
Like,
holy
remember he
shit.
was doing that? And he was trying to explain to people like it's not appropriation. Like I hung out with a bunch of people that talk like this for ages, and I
That was
loved
it,
it.
yeah, yeah.
I actually kind of liked his explanation. He's a lunatic, but
In other aspects, yeah.
That's who the people he was surrounding himself with.
Yeah, yeah, and he's like, I
spoke about,
really
so-
like it because I think that is something that's great about accents. And going back to what we were talking about earlier about like roadmen, like
that
it is that like it is interesting, like it like the words and in all like accents and cultures and stuff, like hearing different ways to say the same thing is very interesting. It gives you a lot of context. So yeah. But I think that's kind of what he was saying. He hung out with these people. He really liked the way they talked, and he kind of wanted to do it too. And I mean, I think that's a fairly nice thing to say, really. But yeah, other stuff he's done, not huge. Get me a Chet Hanks t-shirt.
This guy looks similar to the guy that I've seen, but I think the guy that I've seen is definitely Jamaican, and he just goes up to people and just like says stuff in real like localized slang,
Right.
Jamaican, about like my wife's left me, and what would you do? And everyone's always very talkative. So I'd wake up like that basically.
Right, because there was a clip on. I think it was a clip from like Big Brother or something. 'Cause there was a celebrity one not long ago, and this dude was like, am I allowed to say like bomber clot? And they were like, no, don't say that. Like,
Right.
And then there was this whole debate about it. And I was just
It's a
like,
religious connotation, bomber clot, isn't it?
I don't know.
Basically, I
I've been saying it
think
all my life.
a lot
You
of people
shouldn't say
are, when it comes to like misappropriation and all that kind of stuff, you'll often find the people that really come down on you for doing such aren't even from that culture
Yeah,
to begin
yeah.
with.
Oh right, yeah.
It's people
It's
on
like a-
behalf of other people.
name
Yeah.
for that.
There is. I can't remember what it's called. Like Justice Warriors.
Munchausen by proxy.
Something like that.
But essentially, if you've been around that culture, and that culture, those people are like, it's kind of great that you're sharing this culture. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
If you're doing it respectfully,
from it.
so you profit from it.
Profit separate from morals, we know that.
Yeah, because everyone was pissed off with Post Malone with his first single.
Oh
he
wow,
went-
Beyonce's doing country music now.
Because he had the whole dreads and stuff. Oh, was she?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's because she got lambasted by the country because she did a country
just a
song,
one-off
or
song?
something.
a few years ago apparently.
And then she's like, I'm going to show all you guys. I'm going to do a whole album in country.
But the whole album.
Mm.
Is the whole album.
I think so.
Well, apparently. I mean, does seem silly.
Yeah, shit in it.
it's quite petty. It's quite bitter.
No, I love some country music.
I
Not,
think she's doing it out of spite, though.
it just seems to be, it's
A bit
just
weird.
like, all right. It's like saying like, hey, you know what? Elton John's getting into like, I don't know what, like house. I mean, that could be quite good.
Elton John's quite an eclectic
Yeah, so
guy.
for
I can kind
example.
of see that.
But then Beyonce's, you know, equally one of
She's quite a pop
world's
star.
most popular musicians.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure. Good luck, I guess. Just seems a bit odd.
I prefer her to do like death metal.
Yeah.
Start some vocal frying.
See, that again would be like, what?
Yeah.
Like I'd be the same kind of like, all right.
I think that'd be dope
like-
as hell. Like her power ballady voice on top of some chugging guitars would be pretty dope. Maybe consider that for your next one, Beyonce. I think you'd really suck at metal, and you'd shame the metal community. That's what will get her to do it.
Oh, I see.
See what I mean?
He's reverse psychology.
Yeah.
God, that's crazy.
The entire metal industry hates you, even considering the notion.
This podcast is a psyop. This whole podcast has been a psyop to try and get Beyonce to make metal music.
It's been 163 episodes, and we've certainly laced it. If
Deploy the plan.
you look at every word at the start of the podcast, it actually spells out the whole paragraph.
Beyonce is too chicken to do metal.
Yeah.
Oh, last time didn't we'd seen Dune? Did you see Dune last time?
Oh, I've seen Dune now.
Oh, it's now Dune.
Yeah.
We've all seen Dune 2.
Dune 2.
Do we need to put a
What were
spoiler
your
warning
thoughts?
up front?
We won't spoil
No spoilers.
No spoilers. We won't spoil anything.
Spoiler
You
free.
watched it now, so you can actually... Because obviously I was like I bigged it up in a big way, but you might not feel that way.
Did he overhype it for you?
Did I overhype it for you? Did you feel like it was...
No, not at all.
Meh.
No, I don't think you overhyped it. I'm
Enjoyed it?
surprised you expressed such extreme love of it. But that's maybe more a reflection on you than on the film. Not in a negative way, just like, I think it was a fantastic film. Yeah, I loved it. I mean, it's just so unbelievably up my street that it could have been pretty bad, and I still would have enjoyed it.
Yeah, you like
the thing,
some,
like a lot of people seem to struggle with the fact that the first film is quite boring because it's slow. It's slower,
very slow.
But the contrast between this film, which I don't think is boring at all in any way, it kind of like there's a lot goes on.
Yeah.
And then I decided to watch the original, and that's, well, I say the original, like the one from 1984, which is awful. But like the second film, in terms of like narrative, the second film doesn't even appear until the last third of it.
Really?
So that was all
condensed into a tiny bit.
The worm writing's immense on the old one.
Yeah, the new one
Wailing,
is Dune 2's
heavy metal guitars.
I mean, to make some jokes about it, I mean, those fucking worms are like Deliveroo in the second film.
Yeah, I know.
They're just like,
on demand.
You want to get a worm?
Yeah.
Should we get a worm?
Get the thumper out. Get the thumper out. Yeah.
Without spoiling it.
Get the hooks.
Get the worms out.
Without spoiling, the danger of them has definitely
diminished.
Faded a lot.
Yeah.
They got full control over those things.
But but I guess that's because he's one with the Fremen.
Yeah.
Do you like the the poison?
Do you like the poison?
What do you mean by that?
Trott's currently raising his eyebrows up and down.
You were talking about it
Gesturing towards
beforehand,
Smith.
having understood the source material.
No, I understand.
And how
Waters
it's-
of Life. Yeah.
and how it's portrayed in Dune 2.
Well, did I like how it was
Yeah.
done? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think the
Good.
film must be insanely confusing for people who don't bother to try and read the back of it, because like stuff like the fucking...
It's not very well explained, is it?
There's so many bits that aren't well explained, but well executed in the film if you understand the context. And I'm not saying you have to read the books before you go in. I haven't read the books, but if you
But
read
apparently
it,
the books throw you the deep end straight away as well.
they do.
Like
but
it gives you it without any context. You've got to go through the back, which for references. Which is
well,
fair
yeah,
enough,
that
I
maybe
suppose,
But yeah, the whole pre-life thing of the baby.
The whole talking thing's weird, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that is not explained in the films, but if you read about it, like, it makes a lot more sense. The scenes make more sense, because like, God.
I think the mum is a great actress as well.
Yeah?
She's really good. She
Yeah.
plays that role very well, going from like worried mother
it's like this kind of
and also Bene Gesserit
seems evil doesn't she?
into
Feels evil.
cult.
Rebecca Ferguson, yeah?
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah, she
I
is.
think.
She is. Yeah, no, I loved it. I mean, it's awesome. The scenes, like just the way the film looks. I tell you what, I was quite disappointed with the cinema. The
you didn't watch it in
sound
IMAX?
was too quiet.
No IMAX.
I wanted to go out and tell them to turn it up, but I
Avon
didn't. I
Meads?
didn't want to miss the
really?
film.
Oh, wow.
Is it a showcase in Avon?
Yeah,
Meads?
it was Avon Meads. Like the whole thing was fine. The screen was
screen
fine.
number?
The seats were great.
It's a great number.
Screen
14.
number.
No, 7 and
that's the
14
bad
are their
one.
two
That's the
biggest
bad one.
screens. I chose
Right.
it specifically for that.
But they've got like USB speakers in those ones.
What?
Yeah, they had to compromise with the screen, and they could only fit
This is not true.
Bluetooth speakers.
You're wasting my time, Christopher.
I feel like you're working for them sometimes. You really do big that place up. Just saying.
But
Another psyop.
something I love about Dune is the sound design. It's fucking
Yeah.
incredible, and it was too quiet. But no, the film itself, amazing. Obviously, I think
Actually, that's a good
everyone's
point
going to
about
see
the
it.
sound because, like, I watched it in IMAX and it was loud, but it wasn't Inception loud where you couldn't hear their voices.
It was just well balanced.
So whoever they worked with on that
Should work with Nolan.
needs to fucking speak to Nolan and tell him to stop being a fucking cunt.
Nolan.
So, honestly, like, I love his films, and I think, you know, he's a talented filmmaker, but like his opinion on like you have to see it in the cinema is like has to be amazing. Even in the cinema, you can't hear their fucking voices.
Do you reckon
let it be enjoyable for people still?
He might have like ear damage that he's not aware of, like certain frequencies.
That's fucking shit, then, isn't it?
That makes no sense.
That would be so shit.
He'd have super sensitive hearing.
So
No, I mean, like certain frequencies are like gone.
He's got ear damage, so he wants to be barely able to hear them speak.
Project are
No,
like,
the
well, this sounds
frequencies
really
of,
shit
like,
to me, but only
like-
Nolan thinks it's great.
the white noise of
Yeah.
like the medium range frequencies that like a rocket blasting off
That cover
versus
the voice.
the higher frequencies of voices. He can't hear any of those middle frequencies.
Yeah,
He's
maybe.
like, can you turn the rockets up a bit more?
Yeah,
It's just,
possibly.
because I feel like I couldn't even watch it at home. Like I tried watching Interstellar, that was it, and I was
Why-
just turning it up and down because it was like quite late. I was like, oh, fuck.
Why do TVs, right, if you're just using the TV speakers and streaming services, still not understand what speaker output you have?
Yeah.
And why does it always do like really loud music and quiet speech? Like, why is
I
that
will
still
say
a
that
thing?
TV needs a sound system.
Yeah, it
Those
does.
speakers are not.
But it's
built-in
stupid,
TV
like-
speakers are not the one.
I feel like the bare minimum should be like, this is a TV at home, not a 7.1 surround system.
Yeah.
Here's the relevant audio for that stereo setup. Not
Yeah,
the
it's
7.1
the
with
way it
like
should
only
be.
a couple of channels available.
Well, I don't know whether this is a setting that could be changed in your television.
Oh, believe me, I've been through them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? So if it's a 5.1 source, it'll synthesize 5.1 through your stereo
Just
speakers.
doesn't balance the 7.1. So like the center speaker is meant to be for vocals, right?
Yeah.
Instead, I'm getting like the fucking music and the speech at two different levels of volume because there's not enough speakers for the speech.
Yeah.
Basically.
Sound systems are expensive though. Like I looked into getting a sound, like just a 5.1 sound bar and sub setup, and they're like 500 quid minimum. You know, for one worth
That's
getting.
fair.
Yeah.
You can get ones for like 200 quid, but they're not worth getting.
Yeah,
like, you know,
like-
because they're still stereo. They're 3.1, so like it won't do much for you either.
Yeah. The Samsung one I got must have been close to 600-700.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's just frustrating that you
But,
have
like,
to indulge in that
really good.
to get
Yeah.
normal audio.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's right.
Yeah,
TV
but I think
should just-
it's the battle between how thin the TV
Yeah.
is now. That's the
Yeah.
issue. It's because TVs are so thin
It's
they
not-
can't
it's-
put
it's-
decent
it's
like,
not even
quality
that.
speakers in it
It's
that
like-
do enough.
The speaker quality's fine. It's just the balance of the mix is
Yeah.
wrong
Oh,
because
yeah.
it thinks the TV's 7.1.
yeah.
That's what needs to change.
Tell you what I've been doing recently, and I fucking love it. When I really want to, when it's just me watching, you can do it with up to 2 people. When it's just me watching, AirPods,
Just headphones. Yeah.
they tether
Yeah.
to my Apple TV.
Yeah, that's
and I
nice.
can just press a button
Oh, yeah.
and I can watch it all with the full like rendered audio in it.
And you can have it loud as well.
Yeah. But that's only for like when I want to watch specific things where the sound is really, really key.
Yeah,
Because
I
obviously, seeing
I put the subwoofer underneath my sofa. It's fucking great.
Yeah, feel the
So that's-
vibrations
for
of the
decent
worms.
films, it's great. Yeah.
What's the thumping like from Dune 1?
It's heavy. I feel for the neighbours.
You can see why the
Never had a
worms come
complaint.
out.
I don't know why. Blast that fucker.
Do you see?
Solid concrete floors.
and down.
There's no one above.
No, as in like that's why. So you're like,
Oh,
it's firing up. Is that an up firer?
Well, it's sat on the floor though.
I presume it's firing straight into your asshole.
yeah,
Is it also firing into the roof of the tenant below you?
Well, yeah, I imagine so. Yeah. There are rubber stoppers, but I don't think that stops.
That's
anything.
not doing
That's stopping
anything.
shit.
Bit of rubber will sort you out.
Yeah.
That's what we
I
put.
really should put carpet on.
We got a train coming through here, but don't worry, we've put rubber under the rails. It'll be fine.
Sounds like this sci-fi movie is always on in that fucking flat.
Our live studio audience is telling me that soundbars will fix all my issues. Soundbars sort it
Yeah,
out.
even if you got a soundbar without like the side speakers and a sub, like a soundbar will sound way better. But
Okay.
it defaults to 5 or 7.1, whichever you're.
I'm always so.
and get the Dolby Atmos. That's the good.
Yeah, you want Dolby Atmos. This is the problem.
'Cause it
So
does
to
sound-
get
it's-
Dolby Atmos, you need to spend at minimum like probably minimum 350, but I would spend 500.
What's wrong with a
then I
cup
just
and
didn't buy
string?
one.
Eh?
Because I'll tell you what, if my TV ever defaults to the TV sound, I feel pissed off because I
Yeah.
don't have that
Yeah, but
good.
you've-
Because I've got it there. It's that if that's not on.
I
Have you got,
know,
have you got
it's not
speakers
enjoyable.
behind you as well?
Yeah, well, either side of the sofa,
Yeah.
there's speakers pointing towards you, and then obviously you got the sub, and then you got the soundbar and the TV, and it's just like epics. It's an
Next
epic
year, maybe.
system.
Next year.
But it's just like it's worth it.
But you're
Well,
never
I'm
going
glad,
to
I'm glad,
Avon
I'm
Meets
glad
again.
it's worth it. I'm
Then
glad
what
it's
are they going to do?
See, I wouldn't go to Avon. If I could have got Dune 2 and
At
watched it
home.
on my nice TV with a good sound system,
Yeah.
I don't have a good sound system. I've got TV speakers because, like
But you're
I
not
said,
going to get all the cool.
when I really care, I'll
Just
put my
headphones,
headphones
sure.
in. But it's not. I'd rather have a sound bar, but they cost less money.
Well, what about the cool Dune cups that you'd only get at the cinema?
We didn't get Dune
And the
cups. Did you get
popcorn,
Dune cup?
Yeah, I got a Dune cup.
Did you?
I didn't get a fucking
I
Dune
see,
cup, but the one
man.
with the fucking like
Not the worm one.
fuckable one.
That's
But
the
is it a
pop. That's the
fuckable worm
popcorn.
toy?
You can get a worm
It's got a
mouth.
little tendrils.
Yeah, and then put
popcorn
your
in
pocket. I mean, it's fun. That's very fun. Don't get me wrong.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
get that at home, would you?
No,
No, but you
And-
probably use a
and-
few popcorn just trying to get it out because it's grabbing them. With
With his little
mandibles.
teeth.
Yeah.
What are they called? I want to make loads of Dune-related jokes, but I can never remember all the fucking names. they come up with.
Oh, well, I know. Remember one name, Paul. His fucking the main character.
Atreides.
Yeah, the name Atreides, but then it's just Paul.
Paul.
I still find that really
honestly-
annoying. People are like, yeah, but that's his name.
Would you prefer Gary?
It's a biblical name. Yeah, Gary would be better.
Gary would be better, wouldn't it?
No.
Speaking
Give her a better
of,
name.
obviously we were talking about a subject with which we know a huge amount about, appropriation.
Oh, God.
Yeah, go on.
And that we can both, enlighten people with our informed conversation on the matter, and also not piss anyone off with our
It's
sweet
just a
takes.
beautiful line that we
We're really
along.
good at talking about this.
daintily walk along.
Did you feel the religion stuff in Dune 2 was a little on the nose when it came to Islam?
Oh, good question. Thinking about it,
Did
yeah.
all of the Fremen seem like they were every trope of religious Islamists?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you not see that?
I see the parallel now that you've raised
I
it.
didn't even.
How do you not? It's like they're clearly meant to be, especially when they go south to meet the fundamentalists.
Yeah, right. That's a really good
right.
point.
Like every
that's
single element
new
of it.
though.
Oh, I didn't even. Think.
Like that's not in the books. The
Yeah.
whole like separation of
You
the
were
North
saying
and
it's supposed
South
to be that.
Fremen.
That's not in the book.
That's not in the books.
Right. Okay.
Apparently. So yeah, this whole like fundamentalist southern area where
But I get all of that, and I get people are saying like spice is an analogy for oil in the desert,
And also-
I completely understand all these
Oh,
things.
right,
But what I'm saying is, in the way that it was presented in the film,
like the way
they had an opportunity to not make it Muslim with different words, but it kind of seemed a lot like that. The way people congregated, the things people wore, the kind of language. Like I know that they're using words from the book. I'm not going like that film's racist. I'm just like saying like. For me, I was watching this. I'm just like, Jesus! Like they're leading into this hard. Like if they led into like Knights Templar shit, you'd recognize that as well. Like God wills it, and like big fucking tabards with crosses on, and
apparently Mao Hadib,
yeah,
allegedly, this may not be true, in Arabic literally means tormentor.
right, interesting. But I mean,
But like the fact that they're taking from Arabic.
but
What's
like,
his name? Frank. Who wrote the books?
was it not the same guy who did Sin City?
No, not
No, not Frank
Frank.
Miller.
No,
The only
it's
Frank
a
that
different
exists.
Frank Herbert.
Frank Herbert. So yeah, no, he didn't really think about
maybe
it.
Maybe I don't know enough about.
He's also
Islam.
heavily homophobic.
Is he?
Frank, yeah.
I don't
And
know
also
enough.
like the women it portrayed in the original Dune books, very like not marginalized, but patriarchal, dominated.
Funky headgear though.
Funky headgear though, good point. Again,
Yeah.
I'm seeing the
Yeah.
parallel.
This
Crystal
is
Walken's
another, like,
daughter, or was
I
it
guess-
granddaughter?
Huh?
Cool headgear.
Crystal Walken's granddaughter.
Oh, what's her name? She's like,
Oh, she did have
the
cool
future
headgear.
Empress.
Yeah.
with
Got
the
this,
funky
like,
kind of like diamond
veil thing.
That's probably
Pretty
really
dope.
annoying to wear, but like look
It
pretty
fit
cool.
her so well.
Yeah, well, it was obviously custom made.
No
but yeah,
way.
Yeah.
They didn't get that off
I reckon
Smithy's.
they wouldn't have found that on
Smithy's.
Smithy's
Toys.
costumes. Yeah,
Smithy's.
Smithy's costumes. Yeah, we need something very jeweled up, specifically fitting her head and entire body.
What did you think of the Harkonnen gladiatorial scene?
Ah, that was really cool.
Cool.
That was really good.
All under the black
Yeah.
sun.
Mm.
Very cool.
Yeah, Austin Butler looks menacing in that
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah. No. I can't spoil too much.
Thickened his
without-
brow up.
But yeah,
in a big way.
it's great. There's so many great things to it. It's just, it feels like a really nice snapshot, a look into a world, doesn't it? It's like, I think like, there was that film with
Kevin
Jupiter
Costner.
Ascending, is it called? Something like that?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
those
Channing
films?
Tatum.
Channing Tatum.
That
Mila
is
Kunis.
Mila
a
Kunis, that's it.
Wachowski's film.
Yeah, like films like that come along, like sci-fi films or series or things that could be potential franchises, or rather just good versions of books is usually what it is. There's loads and loads of amazing sci-fi books. Every so often people try and take a swing at making films out of them. And you can tell when a world doesn't seem legitimate, and I think films like that, Jupiter Ascending or whatever it was called, are an example of that, where they've tried to make the world seem real, but something about how they've either displayed it, shown it, or told the
What's the
story
other
makes it feel
polarizing?
like you're just looking at
Yeah.
what's it called when you only render what you're looking at?
Oh.
in a game.
Simulation theory.
Shit.
But anyway, that feeling.
That's what I feel like.
Huh?
I saw something on simulation theory that said that that's how some people. That could be how we. perceive-
Foveated.
Is it not? Is it foveated rendering?
Yeah.
That's just about focus, isn't it?
That's about high definition
Yeah.
where you're looking.
Anyway, you get what I'm saying, and I feel like when a world a lot of the time feels like that, it doesn't
Ambient
grab
occlusion.
me.
Yeah.
It doesn't grab me. Ambient occlusion is when things reflect light in space properly.
It's been no, that's ambient.
Anyway, you know the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, but I really want to know the term now. But you carry on.
But yeah, like
Ambient culling.
I think Dune is a place that feels as though it's real. Like the films make that world feel like, oh, let's go and look at that planet. Let's go and see what's going on here.
What we're looking at is like just a snapshot of a wider world.
Yeah.
Like you can tell if they put the camera anywhere else, stuff will exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
You should watch Scavengers Reign.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
you've
fucking
really
cool.
been raving about that. I can't.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. It's just a
that.
very interesting animated.
Is it about rat
series?
people?
So as well, they land on this planet. I think they were supposed to be studying this planet, but then there's complications, and they're humans, but this world is just like everything's living.
Entirely.
Like,
Everything's
the plants
living.
are like really like freaky and kind of like it's very got like almost Alice in Wonderland kind of like mystique levels to it. But it's very interesting and a very good
Scavengers
watch.
Reign.
Just like it reminded me of like
Does it rain
Spirited
like
Away
fall
or
from
like
the sky or rain
or
like a
raining
Rain
King Terror.
REIGAN?
Yeah.
GN.
yeah. So that's I would recommend that one
Okay.
because that's
Scavengers
really
Reign.
interesting.
Is
And
it a
also
series or a
visually-
movie?
It's a series. I think it's how many episodes?
Which paid streaming service do you watch it on?
It'll be HBO Max, I think.
So how are you getting that in England?
VPNs.
Weird.
It's fucking
Now,
VPNs.
it's probably on Now TV.
VPNs and a prepaid
I don't know
credit
actually.
card.
Let's see. Let's Scavenge.
Yeah, you could watch it in glorious 144p on Now TV for only
Great.
£55
Do I
a
need a
month.
soundbar for that?
I actually cancelled my Now TV because I just don't watch anything on it. But then this came up apparently, and then obviously I bought it again to watch it.
Did I
It's just
t- I
called
think I
Max
told you
now,
this,
Ross.
but-
It's not HBO.
Do you know what's the least subscribed or least watched streaming service?
What's that? Look at the percentage in this.
Is it Paramount?
Wow.
We talked about Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
The tomatometer for this. For
Wait, it's
Scavengers
animated?
Reign. Yeah, it's
So
animated.
it's a kid show.
Well, let's just read the tomatometer. Read
Don't call it that.
read the tomatometer, Trott. What does it say?
It says 100%.
100%. That's fucking
but
crazy.
that's the critics.
All right,
What's
well,
the audience?
let's ask the audience then.
Let's ask the audience.
What does the audience say?
94%.
That's fucking huge.
That's pretty high.
It means you have to watch it.
Ross, if I spell a word TOMAT, how would you pronounce that word?
Tomate.
If I spell a word TOMATO,
What?
Tomato.
Tomato. Meter.
You're saying tomatometer,
Yeah.
but you're pronouncing the A and O. You shouldn't be doing that.
Tomatometer.
Tomatometer.
All right, let's raise it up a bit. Tomatometer.
Okay.
It's still tomatometer.
It's not
It's where you say tomotometer.
tomato
Well, that's
meter.
an O.
It becomes
No.
easier to say tomato
Everyone
meter.
needs to say tomatometer.
No, you don't, because you're.
Everyone needs to say it. If you don't say it, you're
He's
wrong.
dying on that hill.
But Scavengers
Smith,
Reign
isn't he?
definitely worth watching. It's just visually.
Is it
fucking
good
cool.
animation?
Yeah, it reminds me of like Spirited Away.
Oh,
style.
cool.
I don't know if it's it's not the same studio,
But
but
it's like fluid.
yeah, there's just elements of it which are just like it's annoying because some of the character designs are quite simplified, but the
Right.
backgrounds and stuff look fucking crazy good.
Right.
And like some of the animation style's really interesting, and there's
So it's not
this like
Newgrounds level.
telekinetic like creature which is like really cool and like yeah, it's really interesting. So if you have a chance,
But
to
it's a
watch that,
kid
I
show
would
because it's
recommend it.
animation.
Well, it's fucking cartoons.
Yeah,
so
it's just
obviously,
cartoons, isn't
you
it?
know, if
Put the
you're
kids
12
down
or
in front of
under,
it.
it's great for you.
Pop the kids down in front of it. Are there any suck job worms in it?
Oh well, there are some weird things.
There are suck job worms.
There's a scene where this like kind of little bug gets pulled out of the soil. This little kind of plant suctions its head and then like pulls it out, and then it kind of like plants a seed, and then it just shrivels up and dies. It's just like this whole process.
What's the
It's like-
rating?
oh, I don't know.
Has it got
Probably
sex
like 12A or
scenes?
something. No, it's not like.
Well, I'm
nothing
not
like that.
interested.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If there's no plant suck job like Smith said,
But
what's
it's
the point?
visually fucking cool, and it's the type
I
of
just
thing
asked for a
that
worm suck job, not a plant suck job.
if you ever wanted to just
sorry.
enjoy I don't know, psychedelics whilst watching something, it'd probably
Yes,
be
okay.
quite a
Thing
cool
to go
thing to
for.
watch. 'Cause
Sure.
it's fucking, it is trippy.
Visually.
I'll go to America and
visually
get
cool.
Max, the subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you just download it.
What?
Download
No,
it.
that's not
No.
possible.
It's got to be available somewhere in the UK, surely. Scavengers Reign. But I don't know.
Probably
Yeah,
on Sky Atlantic.
Yeah, Scavengers Reign.
Actually,
Let's
know that
find
now.
it out for
Where to
UK
watch?
stream. All right, how to watch it online?
This is
on
going-
Macs. Okay, so that must be in the UK?
That's a VPN. That's telling you how to use a VPN.
That's using a
'Cause
VPN.
that's a YouTube video.
So it's not available in the UK then?
No.
Fuck. Well, I've fucking seen it. Guess what? You can suck a big one. Because I've watched it. You should watch it.
Cool.
Mhm.
All right. Well, Scavengers Reign, and also
Yeah.
Dune 2 if you haven't seen it
Apparently
already.
it does have sex scenes.
Oh, does it?
Apparently.
Were you too high as a kite on
I'm only
psychedelics?
halfway through. No, I didn't.
You're only
no, I
halfway
didn't.
through.
I said it's just a trippy.
You don't need psychedelics.
So I'm just saying you could, if you wanted to. If you wanted to enhance yourself.
That would make Dune 1 more interesting. High
Yeah.
on ayahuasca.
Yeah, you could make anything interesting, I suppose. If it,
Exactly. You can make
There's-
any...
Well, you probably couldn't make the next Avatar that
God
interesting.
damn. I tried watching that on Netflix.
I gave it 20 minutes and I was like, this isn't.
I
for
gave
me.
it the same amount of
It's just
time.
not for me.
It's
But
not...
you've watched X-Men 97 recently. It's just a little tangent on current
Yes.
media.
Yeah. I fucking love
What do you
it.
think of the?
It started off as
You've
like...
got
Nah.
nostalgia for it as well. So
I got nostalgia for it, obviously. Big old nostalgia boner for it. But also, the intro is amazing, but it's not the same. If I'm going to be critical about it, they've taken the original theme song and remade it,
That's
which I
really
think is a
difficult.
legal thing, licensing thing,
Oh right, okay.
and got the same instruments, which kind of pissed me off a little bit. But
Fuck.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it. However,
in a minute.
But
fantastic carry on of the original series, and I didn't realize how layered and complex.
Shit, he's boiling over.
It's fantastic.
and then if
really
you were
fun.
to check the
Tomatomata.
Yep.
98%,
98%,
and then 94% for audience.
that's good. I might watch it.
You should.
I was
You
never.
should.
The thing is, what's getting you really hot for it is the nostalgia. I never watched it before.
I don't think you need to.
So if I watch this, what am I getting out of it? As in, like, am I getting a
Just a
fresh
fun
story
romp.
from the beginning, or is it like,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, what happened in '97? We're going to continue.
There's a big,
Like, I don't
there's a
fucking know.
recap news thing at the start of like the current events of the world, which you could watch the whole original series leading up to it, sure, but you get the gist.
Okay,
Like I haven't seen it since I was a kid, so
that's fair.
I've caught up on it. It's very obvious. It's very like superhero though. Like they all speak with speeches and like, you know, I am the elements of storm and I summon lightning.
I did like
Yeah.
that, yeah. I when Storm comes in.
Storm is so like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Primordial and no, very cool.
classy.
Yeah.
It's very
I
cool.
finished 3 Body Problem as well. I didn't like it.
You didn't like it.
I just thought it was a
Bit
Eh.
meh.
I don't. Yeah, I just didn't really care too much for it at the end. I was like, oh, I don't really want to watch the next series now.
Shit. All right.
So I wouldn't necessarily
He's
recommend it.
not
Some people liked it. Apparently, reading the books is probably a better experience. I'd imagine so.
Is this the Rossometer?
This is the personal Rossometer.
What would you give that percentage then of 3 body?
I didn't think it. Well, I watched it through, so 60%.
60.
Around that mark.
When is it rotten? Is it below 50?
50, I think. Yeah.
What about
Probably.
Dune 2 there? What's the
Dune 2, I would
Rossometer
go
on that?
with like 98.
And Scavengers Reign?
Yeah,
haven't
I
finished
haven't
it
finished it yet, but
so
it's
far?
definitely high 80s.
Damn.
I reckon.
Do you reckon it would go up?
Maybe. I haven't
If it
seen
keeps
the end.
up.
Apparently there's sex scenes, so
It's going up. It's going up.
yeah, obviously.
They blew their budget on this scene.
And then I need to watch it, but Shogun as well. That's
What would you
got
give it?
high
The
audience scores on here as
Smithometer.
well.
I mean, like, obviously, I have my
Nice.
opinions on ratings. I do.
Oh, well, these ratings are quite high though.
They're insanely high. They're so
Well, what's
high.
this rating?
Doesn't leave enough nuance.
Well, what does that word say?
99% on the tomatometer.
Thank you.
What would you give it as a Smithometer though?
I give it a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
I would give it a very strong
Gonna
rating.
need a
Nice, good.
percentage.
But I think
Yeah,
one
bring it-
percentage 90%.
Oh, good. Well, yeah.
On the dot. Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So he's not going to.
There's
I mean,
room for
I might
improvement.
tip it over 90 because I do love it. It's fantastic. It's so.
Is the last 10%
enjoyable
personal
to watch.
reasons, or do you reckon it's like a
Yeah.
thing that everyone can
No, yeah, I think
understand?
the last 10% should be reserved for a person's personal, like
Personal taste.
I think yeah, no, it's great. I guess with things like Shogun, like I find certain things easier to be critical of because there's so much comparison for them. You know, like something like Shogun doesn't come along that often, and so I don't really want to give it too much of a critique, I suppose. Like for me,
It's just good that it exists.
Masters of the Air, I felt was quite a big disappointment, and I feel like people.
Oh yeah.
I feel like people are
I've only seen a couple
far
episodes,
too like they want to be positive about it, which is great, and because a lot of people don't like
Oh, it's just the Band of Brothers.
yeah, the third Band of
unofficial
Brothers
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
They
So I only watched a couple, but
people don't like talking negatively about things because it makes them feel bad. A lot of people, I find. So I understand that some people don't like to be negative about things, but I quite enjoy picking apart things.
Do you think it's also based on people don't like to backtrack on their own hype?
Yeah, totally. I think I encounter this really, really often. People dig in and stick to their own opinion.
They don't
it depends on what it
because
is,
they feel like it's a personal attack on their own ability to judge.
Well, it's like
something.
anti-vaxxers trying to find, whenever somebody dies, they're like, oh, what was it though? Was it the
Yeah.
vaccine?
Yeah.
Am I finally proven right?
My main problems with Masters of the Air, in comparison to Band of Brothers, it doesn't even come close to Band of Brothers in multiple
that's it, 'cause it's
ways.
obviously, like,
but
it's
I won't bother
the
going
makers
into
of,
that.
isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't scratch the same itch, I don't think.
All of the first 3 episodes of Masters of the Air were basically a waste. They showed 3 basically identical episodes of them going up fighting air battles. I think this was to establish just how ridiculously brutal, over 50% casualty rate for these people in real life. This happened. Half of them didn't come back. That's absurd. And they tried to drive that home. Problems I had with the show in general were it fixates on the 2 leads like all the fucking time, like they're in some sort of like top man shoot.
Top gun shoot.
Like they had loads of cool clothes. The costume is amazing
like
in
Elvis.
the show, and of the era, the clothes they wore were really cool. All these bombers, they didn't have insulation in the bombers, so they all wore these amazing big flight jackets that we probably all know and recognize.
Oh, yeah.
So they have a lot of really cool costume, but the show is very fixated on basically showing 2 good-looking guys in that costume. Like every episode's like them in a different costume, and it just. The CGI is garbage as well.
I noticed that. Yeah.
I cannot believe how bad the CGI is, and I don't know why other people don't notice it.
Going on with there's several things I've watched recently, like The Gentleman at the beginning. Like,
Oh my god, I watched that.
Did you watch it? Did you see
the
the tracking?
fucking tracking?
Like
It's
the tracking
awful.
alone, that's one of the most basic things you can do is track an object.
The main title of the film
There's
is
a
meant to
helicopter
track with this mansion, and it's just like juddering around.
Juddering. It's like
they keyframed it manually and just
that's
like
the type
that'll
of
do.
thing you would better do like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Comfortably.
So bad.
And
It's
the
like,
kind
how
of thing
they-
that you could give to like a fucking intern to do for a day.
Could you just do very
like,
quickly?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, yeah, it's fine, it's tracked perfectly. It's
Yeah.
I don't know what
don't know
went
how
wrong. I
they
remember telling you that
fucked
you
up.
could have done that so much better and easier. It's just like
They should have hired me
I don't understand
for
how they
that.
would saw that and were like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not even like
That's weird.
it's not bad enough to then be like a stylistic
Yeah, 'cause
choice.
it's not like a big deal. But, did you also see the bits where they like had writing? When
Yeah,
she went
awful.
to it? And that's just like really like
Awful.
unimaginative and also
Yeah.
just very.
That felt very
2D and
BBC
bland. Yeah,
BBC
yeah.
TV series, like low budget VFX team
Yeah.
doing a thing very quickly.
There was no style to it or flair. It was literally just text on a screen explaining this very quite a mundane thing, really, as well. Yeah, but we established it wasn't actually directed by George.
No, he was just an
So
exec
it was someone who was
producer.
clearly just happy to say yes to what that was. But that got a relatively high score. It got 86% audience score, so people seem to enjoy the content of it enough. But I actually stopped watching.
Couldn't get past the title after that, and Jesus
I
Christ.
also did watch this fucking Quiet on Set documentary thing, which was about like. Did you ever watch Drake and Josh? I never really
No.
watched. I think it was just past the point where
Yeah.
I was at school and stuff. And
Apparently, it's a good documentary.
well, it's not. Well, it's not good. The content of it's horrible.
Well, it's an
obviously.
expose,
basically
isn't
just
it?
like a bunch of fucking perverts in Nickelodeon.
It's Nickelodeon. Yeah, it's Nickelodeon.
Kids,
yeah, with the whole feet fetish thing.
Yeah, and all these clips of like Ariana Grande like fucking squirting water all over her face and stuff, and like it's just like these were perverts in charge here, just
Dan
making kids do
Schneider,
what they wanted,
yeah.
and then like, yeah, there's
Fucking tragic.
And what's worse is the guy who did all Drake. Also, sorry for the terms, makes it seem trip, but it does. Yeah, make
Drake?
but it was the guy who played Drake. Is it Drake? Not
the musician.
no. Josh and Drake. Drake and Josh. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah. I don't know them though either, because like.
Well,
I know
either
them
way, the
just
guy
by-
who played Drake.
Drake Bell.
Yeah. What was the point? Yeah, so the guy who diddled him got fired, but then moved to Disney, and they didn't. He just got another job at Disney, working with
Got a
kids
nice
again.
parallel job. Moved over.
That's insane. Hollywood's fucking filled with pedophiles.
It's
I
terrifying.
think positions of power in general,
That's crazy,
Like 50-50 seems to attract people who are wrong, like who are like evil, or not necessarily evil, but just like doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Well,
they get in that position of power and exploit it horribly.
Yeah.
but that then, subsequently, loads of people have also come out about various producers.
I think lots of good lots
Disney.
of exposés are coming out now, like with P. Diddy.
If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a fucking pedo. I think is what we can take.
Nickelodeon
What if it's just a duck?
Oh, look, wait, this dude really seems to enjoy working with these young children actors and gets them to do weird things. Well, but he's a bit of a pedo. Yeah, he is. He's a bit of a pedo. Yeah, he's a bit of a pedo.
Very weird kink there.
Maybe we should go back to just, I don't know, letting like straight women direct and produce this stuff or something. You know, I know that's like a kind of basic view of things, but like, how else can you avoid this?
Well,
kind of shit
there definitely needs to be more
happening?
checks and balances in these things, isn't there? Because that's clearly
People are in
something's
positions of
wrong at the
power.
top.
People below them are worried about losing their jobs.
Yeah.
And then they just...
Well, then there's telling kids
Weird, geeky, manipulative men want to get off. They create a situation where nobody can predict. It keeps
it's gross.
fucking happening.
It's so horrible.
Like, there's just so many fucking weird men. Just, I don't know, just get the fucking fires burning, I guess. A few of them we're going to chuck in aren't going to be pedos, but a lot of them are.
It would have been at a time where, like, also...
It's not a wide net, but you're going to get a few dolphins.
We'll get 'em.
Yeah.
A few dolphins, but
Because
mostly...
I guess, like, smartphones weren't really a thing early 2000s, really.
No.
Not widespread. So, like...
The news didn't get
it
out.
wasn't necessarily something that would be spread, like, on social media as quickly as something today.
And also
so I'd like to
it's-
think that today, if something like that was happening, it would probably get nipped in the bud pretty quickly.
It's just horrible that it's children, because children are so easily manipulated and exploited. It's just
and
horrible.
then obviously in context of reading
Arguably,
the
they
script,
shouldn't work before they're an adult.
well, that's it. I'm not
Like-
sure which case it was. Somebody got emancipated from their parents so they could work longer hours or some shit.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was specifically, but
I
cases like that
remember
where it's
as
like,
well.
yeah.
And I know
this,
this, and there's shit. There's like, what's Dave, the season 3, was talking about that. Like, they have a bit in there where they're working with child actors, and they go into it, and like, they have like all of the welfare and safeguarding and stuff like that. All these people on set for looking after these kids, like, like taking them away. It's a dramatization of a set, but it shows the lengths that kid actors probably have to go through to like and also just productions have to go through to deal with kid actors. And I know there's a load of safeguards in place, but it just doesn't seem like it's enough. It doesn't like those safeguards will only seem to exist in a space where they're already safe in the first place.
I remember speaking to
like
somebody who worked with like Harry Potter films, and he said that it was the most frustrating part was the fact that obviously the kids could only work a certain amount of hours. So he was pissed off because he's just like, the crew get here at like 3 a.m. and they set everything up, but then they can only work X amount of hours. Obviously they have to have like school in between, so they have like sessions, and they just said it would have taken like months and months quicker if they could have flouted those laws. So you can see why some people try to get past them, but it's got to be followed in a certain.
We're going to end up with
the most
that's
important
literally
thing is
schools of
not
kids.
the production of that film.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'd agree with that.
They're
but
aging
like,
quickly. Get them on camera.
Yeah. It's like, well,
You're looking older, Ron.
Oh my God, life is working on you pretty hard.
Is that a wrinkle?
Are there any
Get off
new
stage.
examples of kids just being straight up replaced with CG?
I mean, fuck.
Because then
It
they
will be. It's a really good use of AI, if you ask me. Just remove children from the film and
the
music
equation
business.
entirely. Yeah.
Wait until they're a fucking adult. I mean, God, even 18 is too young to get into these businesses. Like, you're so vulnerable still. Like, you're so. I don't know. Maybe we just have to accept that there's vulnerability.
Yeah,
and
they're
never
making
gonna
themselves a star on fucking TikTok and Instagram and shit now, or YouTube.
I guess it's
Who would do that?
a form of decentralization in a way.
In a way, yeah.
Everyone making their own business.
Yeah, but there's also just like, yeah, it's true. Well, I don't know what I want, but I don't want that
Some
either.
of them get lapped up by the industries, the bigger industries like TikTok and a lot of the YouTubers. Like, who's that guy that was in LA?
Bloody Logan Paul.
Not Logan Paul, but similar to him.
Who was that guy that
Smaller,
was in LA?
curly hair.
Jake, his brother.
No, not the. He got like invited to a golden ticket event and then was like indoctrinated.
Was it at P Diddy's house?
I don't know. It was
It's not at P Diddy's
Which
house.
house?
Was it?
East
Bloody
or West
hell.
Coast?
I don't know. I don't even know the full story of the P Diddy thing. I just know that
think
apparently
he's
he
just
fucked
an
Meek Mill.
Epstein. He's basically an Epstein, yeah, and also using sex as a weapon against other men.
Well,
He seems, but what's crazy,
like
right?
a fucking mad maniac.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know how much of it's true. Obviously, he's running away from the police apparently or some shit. So there must be some truth to it.
So he's also a billionaire,
Guy's
right?
got kids.
He's got loads of kids.
Yeah.
So P Diddy's also a billionaire, right?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, based on all this there as well.
I just
Asset-wise,
cannot
he must be, yeah.
believe that there are this many actual villains, like in the these
I think
people
there's this
seemingly.
illusion of being untouchable, I suppose, because
But it turns
some
people
cases
into
it probably
such
is.
such evil villains. Like it really does. It
shows the
mind-blowing.
fallibility of humans when they're
Well,
given.
It does, but also that then they construct such complex things around them to enable them.
Lack of morality.
Fallibility is one thing, but to then actively go out and use your skill set to create an environment for which enables the things you're doing shows a level of deviousness, which is just really
abuse of power. Yeah, it's full abuse of your
It's like the stories you hear, like the mad kings and queens of old.
Yeah.
Like just having insane power and doing horrible things with it.
It's mad, man. It's mad.
Anyway.
I don't know if Usher was involved in that as well. I think he was.
They also, I'm
He was
sure,
mentioned. I don't
Justin Bieber.
They're all mentioned in it, but I don't know.
They
what
probably
the
all got
ins and
buggered by
outs are.
P. Diddy.
If you want to get rich and famous,
Did
you
you-
got to make a deal with the devil.
Yeah, did you get buggered by P Diddy?
This is why we haven't got a million subs, because we
Yeah.
haven't had that offer yet.
Yeah. What, to be buggered by
Yeah.
P Diddy?
I haven't been buggered by P. Diddy, and now I think there's
Well,
very
fuck,
little chance of it
I don't
happening.
think I don't run in the same circles. I feel like
Let's leave it up to the courts to decide whether P. Diddy or P. Didn't.
P. Diddle?
Say, well, yeah.
P. Diddle. P.
Yes.
Did he.
P. Diddy.
P. Diddy.
P. Did.
Diddy.
P. Did it.
Anyway, we made light of that enough.
Yeah.
But now a little bit more. What else? Any more puns? God, there's some good
Oh.
puns. It's got to be a great time
Well,
to
P.
be
Diddy Diddler.
a tabloid writer.
P.
isn't it?
Diddler.
P. Diddler. Nice.
Simple, that's a simple one.
That's
I
so-
don't
that's
know why
so
that
good.
wasn't the first one.
I said that.
You didn't say P.
Yeah.
Diddler?
Yeah.
Ah, nice. Oh, he said it right. He's covered the bases.
P. Doe.
Pedo. Yeah. Pedo Diddler.
What was his other
It's
one?
all
Puff
he did.
Daddy.
Puff Daddy,
You
yeah.
can play around with that one as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is it for today for the Hat Chat podcast. Thank you very
that's-
much for our half expose, half movie review.
Wow, yeah, just some things we watched. We'll do more of those if you like them. I don't know how to get feedback. Yeah, comment on the video if you watch the video.
Comment on the video. Send
Yeah.
us an email now and again.
Tell us what you like and bits. Maybe you want to hear certain things from us. Like we didn't go into too many funny news today, but we've got some.
News is
So we
there.
always do more funny news stuff.
It's out there.
But
I
we
quite
want
like
to make
our-
Hat Chat chatty for you.
Like
as
we,
well.
me and Ross in particular, could go a bit more nitty gritty into like the film, TV production side of it for like breaking down films, or we could just have our anecdotal thoughts and feelings on films.
Just crack through the illusion. Of
Yeah,
things.
and just say like, we like this. You could probably like this.
There's already a camera in the building. It's clearly set up.
Yeah.
That's always the one. That's
It's always
what
set up.
bothers me,
Anyway,
especially in documentaries. It's like, what?
Oh, hi.
You've re-entered the building. He just set up a fucking tripod. Anyway,
thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next week. Have a good one and enjoy Zwibs.
it was Zwart.
Dibsvarts.
Zwart? Are we saying Zwart? Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
We'll say Zwart, like arty. Zwart.
Thanks for the fingle. Enjoy the whole thing now. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
So what's scary about this though is like we can imagine this situation, right? We can imagine that we can apply our strengths to being versus people from 1910 and how scary and absolute that power would be. This could very much happen if a superior alien race came along to us, where they would be like, hey, we can vaporize your entire population instantly, do what we say, we promise it's for your good, you don't have to say anything. And imagine how scary that would be to suddenly not feel like the apex predator on this planet. But the question of justice has concerned me greatly of late. And I say to any creature who may be listening, there can be no justice so long as laws are absolute. Even life itself is an exercise in exceptions. Smith's real big on aliens. You say you are true evil. I tell you what true evil is. It's to submit to you. It is when we surrender our freedom, our dignity, instead of defying you. Smith is real big on aliens. Oh, yeah, big on aliens. I enjoy the mean, I think aliens are extremely probable, and I think that one day, if we survive that long, some may turn up and it would have an extreme impact on us.